This is the best disc you've never heard of. And it's from a company you've probably never heard of either. So, how did two random guys in Australia go from amateur disc golfers to making one of the best mid ranges we've ever thrown? Well, we're about to find out, because these are our first impressions. Hey everyone, it's Greg from Six Sided Discs, and this is the Wonder from Loop Discs. Loop Discs is a new disc manufacturer out of Australia, started by these guys, Bob and Dave. Bob and Dave fit the mold of so many people in disc golf, including me, who started playing disc golf, fell in love with the sport, and immediately started dreaming of ways to push the sport forward. And while you might think there's plenty of discs already on the market, Bob firmly believes that there's still room for disc golf to innovate and for discs to improve.
There's been a lot of stagnation, I think, in the industry. There's still huge potential for these things to fly further, straighter, more left, more right. I don't think we've optimized the design yet, which is cool.
And we intend to find out whether this Wonder does indeed improve on the straight mid-range recipe. The Wonder is rated at 5.6 -1.1, and it debuts in this happy medium plastic. It has an excellent combination of grip and flex, and it's also available in a second plastic blend called Soft Touch. The difference between those plastics is pretty self-explanatory. For any disc to stand out in the current disc golf marketplace, it needs to deliver a flight or feel that's hard to find anywhere else. And on Josh's very first throw with the Wonder, it delivers exactly that. A fairly effortless and very straight 350-foot shot right off the bat. Now we'll put the Wonder through its paces on several different angles on the course and in the field a little bit later. But first, I want to talk to Bob and Dave about what it actually took to make this disc.
Yeah, I guess I'm not shy about my mad ideas. And pretty much immediately after starting playing, I was really fascinated by the idea of manufacturing a disc. We wanted to try and make a disc, and it took about three and a half years of R&D before we actually cut metal, which is very expensive. And and we're really very happy. It was very nerve-wracking because you just don't know. If anyone's watched Jesse's content, Trash Panda, you really don't know what you're going to get, but we're glad we did the extensive R&D.
Now, all these iterations and prototypes and 3D printing and so on is not necessarily new. It's a process used by many manufacturers. But hats off to the determination required to just keep trying, failing, and trying again until something works. For any big project like this, it's important to have role models, people to look up to and seek out advice. And Bob and Dave had a couple of those, starting with a well-known manufacturer from New Zealand.
And the industry is interesting. I have to give a huge shout out to RPM Discs in New Zealand, who are by far and away the largest manufacturer in the Southern Hemisphere. And they've been really supportive, but there were areas that they're protecting their intellectual property, and they kind of were very clear about, we'll talk about these things and not those things. But they've been fantastically supportive, really great crew based in New Zealand.
That seems like a uniquely disc golf thing. Like, I struggle to imagine how many other businesses or lines of business that you could get into where one manufacturer is willing to be supportive and share some of that knowledge, obviously like up to a point, with what in most industries would just be considered a competitor.
The other shout out that we really should give is OZDG, Oz Disc Golf here. So we early on collaborated with them as well. So he's a good friend of ours, and we shared some of the costs on the initial bolster. We're sharing some of our intellectual property around just plastic formulas and things. And
they also specifically referenced Jesse from Trash Panda as an inspiration and as someone who gave them some great advice.
Jesse from Trash Panda. Trash Panda was one of those people we were looking at and watching early on, and seeing his whole process.
I do have to jump in and just say Jesse is what Australians would call a dead set legend. He's been very supportive. He's really, the spirit of collaboration is strong with him, been very supportive as well.
And from a design point, just the engravings on the bottom, certainly loved what he was doing with some of that and really taking it up a notch and doing something more interesting with it. And so, yeah, it's a fun place to be able to play with that underplate and really kind of put something special there that adds to the flavor of the disc. So, that was something that we kind of had fun with as well.
Loop is also hoping to set a great example for other Australian businesses by sourcing all of their plastic locally from Australian suppliers. Australia, much like the United States, has seen most of its manufacturing move out of the country over the last 40 or 50 years, and this of course has far-reaching economic consequences. But while there are lots of important considerations to their business, the real inspiration behind the Wonder boils down to one thing: watching a disc fly.
The common theme, as will become apparent, is that we just love flying discs.
Yeah.
Disc golf's a fantastic expression of that, but Dave's son plays very competitive ultimate. We're working on a disc now that will be PDGA approved, but it's a very, very slow, very, very glidey disc that could be used for catch and throw. So it's that throwing and watching the disc fly that we just love. And we, I think we love a project and our minds work similarly.
It turns out the flight we saw earlier from the Wonder, gliding, and gliding some more, is pretty much what they were going for.
The Australian scene and the global scene does not need another overstable disc. I mean, we'll make one day, but we don't. It's not needed. The reason we made this disc is because I personally was craving a really glidey mid that I could just throw pretty much for every shot on a short course. And I think that's precisely what we've made.
So back in the field, we decided to put the Wonder through its paces and try it on a few different angles. We got some great hyzer flip distance shots from the Wonder. As well as some big, smooth anhyzers that just kept gliding and pushing. So as Bob put it, it's designed to be fun to throw, beginner friendly, and ideal for a one-disc round. After all, it's nicknamed the One-Disc Wonder. So I wonder, what would happen if we took it out for a one-disc scoring round at our local course? To find out, we'll get some help from this guy. This is Josh, the newest member of Team Six Sided Discs, and we're going to watch some highlights of him tackling a local course with just the Wonder. All right, let's do it. Hey. Turn. Let's go. Sick. And despite several missed putts, Josh was able to finish 9 down on this 18-hole course with an average hole length of 286 feet. And Josh's performance got me thinking, if Loop discs can deliver such an incredible mid-range as their very first disc, I had to ask, what's next?
The ambitious answer will be a starter set by Christmas. We'll see how that goes. But we currently have very progressed prototypes for a speed 10 neutral, hopefully slightly understable driver, so a fast river maybe. And Dave has done some incredible work on a very conventional, nice, reliable putter.
Yeah, kind of a speed 3. Yeah, I've been putting with the PLA out on the course. For anybody who's on a practice round with me, I mean, it sounds awful when the thing hits chains and rattles around in the cage, but it's been really fantastic to actually kind of take it out on the course and really kind of put it under some real world conditions.
The other project that we're really passionate about and just waiting for the right time to kind of progress it is a disc that you can fan grip easily, incredibly glidey, incredibly slow, and would be perfectly functional as a catch and throw disc for a non-disc golf player.
Yeah, and that throw and catch stuff is something that I'm pretty passionate about. I mean, my earliest memories of throwing frisbees is being out there with my dad just playing catch. And in terms of bringing more people to the sport and just enjoying frisbees and enjoying discs flying, I think, you can't ignore just that throw and catch, that ability to go out with your friends, with your family, and just have fun. Like, take away all the point system and just have fun. And then you can add more structure to it, right? You can add ultimate, to it as a team sport. You can add targets to it as disc golf. But first, people need to learn how to throw. People can have it at a picnic at the beach, right? And just enjoy it and not make it too complicated. So yeah, that's certainly something that we want to bring something into the world that can kind of get out further than just the disc golf community.
I can't wait to see their version of a toss and catch disc or fairway driver or anything else, because Loop Discs has really caught me by surprise. A disc we'd never heard of, a company we didn't know existed, from the other side of the world. There's no question that it's worth trying, and I don't even have any to sell you as much as I wish I did. So take a moment to go to loopdiscs.com.au and find a retailer in your area so you can try this disc for yourself. And just to be clear, this video is not sponsored by Loop Discs. Somehow though, despite how impressive the Wonder was on its own, and probably because I'm a huge disc golf nerd, the thing I got most excited about while making this video wasn't the disc at all, but Bob's definition of what a disc golf disc technically is.
The idea of actually trying to understand the physics of that. How does this work? Right? Like, it feels impossible, and somehow, it does something magic.
Radially symmetrical, gyroscopically stabilized aerofoil.
A radially symmetrical, gyroscopically stabilized aerofoil. It's not often that I hear something completely new in disc golf that I've never heard before, so hats off to Bob on that one. Let us know what you think of the Wonder in the comments below. And also comment below what radially symmetrical, gyroscopically stabilized aerofoils you'd like us to explore in the future. For Six Sided Aerofoils, I'm Greg. We'll see you in the next one.
That's crazy.
So how did two guys in Australia go from being... Oh, hey, can you stand here for a second? Come towards me. Turn around. This way. Okay, so here we go. They can't see you. Perfect. And while you might think there's plenty of discs already on the market, Bob believes that there's also... Get in the basket. No. No. And while you might think there's plenty of discs already on the market, Bob firmly believes that disc golf has plenty of room to innovate, and disc golf. So back in the field, we decided it's time to try the one...
It's gyroscopically, I forget it already.
Radially symmetrical. Yep. Gyroscopically stabilized aerofoil in the basket. Oh, come on. Let's go. Sick. If you like this content and want to see more, please consider liking the video, subscribing to our channel, or becoming a member. Your support makes this content possible.